Jaya Jaira Madhava Jai Kunjavi Hari Jaira Madhava Gopi Janna Balava Jai Giri Varadari Jai Giri Varadari Gopi Janna Balaba Jai Giri Varadari Odhanandana Jai Brajaranjana Jaya Brajajaranjana Yasodhanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Rama, Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Nitai go Haribo, 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 Haribo. 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 Nitai Gol Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Anandi Gaudi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Ribo. Hare Krishna. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. Thank you for inviting me here in Scotland, and thank you for the association and for coming today, all of you. So we will read a little bit from the Bhagavad Gita today. Is that okay with all of you? Bhagavad Gita? Rajavidya, the king of all knowledge. Bhagavad Gita is it's a Rajarshi. I feel like a king myself when I go out and distribute the Bhagavad Gita, because we carry the king of all knowledge, Rajavidya. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Uttamam means the highest, the best, like Uttamadikari. Adhikari means qualifications or different ashram. Uttama means the best of all qualifications. Bhagavad Gita is the king of all knowledge. And why? Because it's spoken. Gita means the song is spoken by God. And when Krishna speaks, it's people, they like beautiful songs. But the Bhagavad Gita is the best of all the songs because it's full of truth, full of love, and full of perfection, and full of spirituality. Just by hearing a few words from the Bhagavad Gita, there is one purport in the Bhagavatam where Prabhupada says, just by hearing few words from the Bhagavad Gita will free the soul from all kinds of fear. The highest fear is the fear of death. Like my father-in-law is on his deathbed now, and he's 99 years old, and my wife got a little bit affected by that. I got a little bit affected because he's a good man. He met Srila Prabhupada. And we felt a little bit of that fear, of where is he going to go now? What will happen to him? Many of us, I lost my own father many years ago. And over the phone, he was waiting for me to come over because he wanted to tell me that he loves me, that he always loved me. But he never had the courage, because I was put in a monastery since the age of 5. And so he told her that I had the impression that he didn't love me. But actually, by being brought up in a Catholic monastery, by the grace of Jesus, I came to the Hare Krishna movement. So it was all arranged by the providence. But yes, the best words are those which are not spoken. Love is there. But even though we don't express it, I said it this morning in the class, if we don't learn to love what we see, we can never learn to love what we don't see. We don't see God at the moment, but we see devotees around us. We see the guru with the families, friends, and all the relationships are based on this rasa, love. According to how much we know someone, that much we love someone. Love is based on knowledge. You cannot love without knowing. You have to get to know somebody, something, and then with that sangha, that association, then love comes. It's not that you love first and then knowledge comes afterwards. That's why the name of Srila Prabhupada is Bhakti Vedanta. He's teaching us the meaning of his love, of his name, which is Bhakti, love, then Vedanta. Everything is there in the love, the trust, the truth, commitment, renunciation is there, knowledge is there. So love is the greatest container, contains everything, includes everything. So therefore, the words of Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita, they're pure love. And today we could choose something from the Bhagavad Gita. You could tell me maybe a verse from any chapter between 15 and 20. Which number would you choose? A random. From 15 and 20. 18. 18? All right. And from, let's say from 50 to the verse, from 50 to 60. From 55 to 60, what number would you choose? 58, 57. Shriji, my old friend, he said 57. Should we go with 57? So 1857. Let's see what comes up. I think I brought my glasses. It's actually the cream of Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter, because it's all about love. Krishna is spelling out Bhakti-mama Vijanati. I think that one is the 58, isn't it? Bhakti-mama Vijanati. And 50, 1855, 6 and 7. Oh, 57. The Sri Govinda's verse. Yeah, I know that one by heart. I'm sure you are familiar with it. So we will glorify Srila Vyasadeva first before we make an attempt to read from the Gita with an expansion of Lord Krishna, literary expansion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chittasa Sarvakarmani. Oh. Mai Sanyasi Matpara. Bhukti Yoga Upashritya. Machita Satatambhava. So you can read, gentlemen. Chetasa Sarvakarmani. Mai Sanyasi Matpara. Buddhyoga Upashritya. Chitta Satatam Bhava. Chetasa Sarvakarmani. Mai Sanyasi Matpara. Buddhyoga Upashritya. Machita Satatam Bhava. Any ladies? Chetasa Sarvakarmani. Mai Sanyasi Matpara. Buddhyoga Upashritya. Chitta Satatam Bhava. Chetasa by intelligence. Sarva karmani, all kinds of activities. Mai, unto me. Sannyasya, giving up. Matpara, under my protection. Buddhi yogam, devotional activities. Upashritya, taking shelter of. Machita, in consciousness of me. Satatam, 24 hours a day. Bhava, just become. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, in all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When one acts in Krishna consciousness, it does not act as the master of the world. Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. The servant has no individual independence. He acts only on the order of the master. The servant acting on behalf of the Supreme Master is unaffected by profit and loss. He simply discharges his duty faithfully in terms of the order of the Lord. Now, one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna. But when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. The Sanskrit word matpara is very important in this verse. It indicates that one has no goal in life save and expect acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy Krishna. And while working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. I have been appointed to discharge this particular duty by Krishna. While acting in such a way, one naturally has to think of Krishna. This is perfect Krishna consciousness. One should, however, note that after doing something whimsically, he should not offer the result to the Supreme Lord. That sort of duty is not in the devotional service of Krishna consciousness. One should act according to the order of Krishna. This is a very important point. That order of Krishna comes through the disciple the succession from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, the spiritual master's order should be taken as the prime duty of life. If one gets a bona fide spiritual master and acts according to his direction, then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed. Umagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangalam gayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande shiguru dinatarinam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, a lame man can cross mountains. By his mercy, a blind man can see stars in the sky. And by his mercy, a dumb man like me can speak few words from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I offer my humble obeisances to the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Tamala Krishna Goswaminiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vaskeda Desatarine. So, this is a nice verse right towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Um, Srila Prabhupada is presenting in the purport the question that we may ask, if Krishna is not present, this is the question that a neophyte doesn't mean a bad devotee. It just means a new devotee. Neo is from Latin word new, neophyte. Fight also from the word infantile, which means a baby, the baby devotee. The baby devotee, young devotee, he would ask, if Krishna is not present, so then what to do? We have a Bhagavad Gita. At the time when Lord Krishna was present, he was instructing Arjuna what to do, what not to do. But Krishna now is not present. What to do? So Prabhupada says here, then you will follow the instructions of the representative of Krishna, the spiritual master, or the Shastra. Krishna is present, speaking here in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita was not aimed only, actually was not really aimed for Arjuna. Arjuna is a pure devotee of the Lord, an eternal associate of Krishna. And but to collaborate with the plan of the Lord, he came to facilitate this conversation for us. The Prabhupada used the example, the mother-in-law, when she wants to chastise the daughter-in-law, she chastises her own daughter. The daughter is here, she chastises her, but only to give the message to the daughter-in-law here. Why? Because the daughter-in-law doesn't have that intimacy. There is only reverence there. It's new in the relationship. But the daughter, she can take the chastisement because she knows the mom, she knows the mother, and she knows the mother will never break her. She trusts the mother, that the chastisement from my mother is with love. So, Lord Krishna, he chastised Arjuna to teach us the message. He chastised his own pure devotee to teach us, because we are murtimatan suyave. We are mortals, and mortals, they never go face to face with God. Face to face, to have a face to face darshan with Krishna, you have to be a liberated soul. All the associates of Krishna who appeared 5,000 years ago, they were not ordinary people. They were there to facilitate the plans of Krishna, to teach us a lesson for the readers of the Bhagavad Gita, for us today, for the world, for future humanity. And we are the daughter-in-law. So Krishna chastised Arjuna to teach us the message. And what is this message? The Bhagavad Gita. So we have to be prepared to absorb it. We don't want to remain a Sunday feast devotee. Who come here and take that's good. To be a Sunday feast devotee, I start my Krishna consciousness in that way. 1980. It took me 1 year to surrender to the temple, because I understood there is more to it than just, kirtan, association with devotees, and nice prasadam, feast. And then what? We have to ask a question. Then what? What is next? So therefore, understanding this movement, why we dress like this, what is the tilak for, what is the purpose of life, who am I, where I come from, where will I go after I die? These are questions for intelligent devotees. So we come to the temple, we take part into the Sunday feast, and then we take up the understanding also. Then we get some books, we read, and we become enlightened. That knowledge will free us. Nabhikramana susti pratyavayona vidyate. When I said it before, it will free us from all the danger and the fear, especially the fear of death, the fear of disease. When we hear, a loved one has a cancer or a particular rare disease, or someone is dying, we get scared, because it's a channel that we all have to pass through. We all have to put on that dress of taking birth, old age, disease, and then ultimately death. We all have to die. If someone comes to you, scientists, they're trying to make your life, longeve and eternal, don't trust them. They're trying to sell you something. But you can trust the devotee if they try to sell you a book. Because we give the knowledge that Srila Prabhupada said will free us from this four-major suffering like old age, disease, birth, and death. When people, they ask, what is the donation for? What are you doing to help humanity? We give out this knowledge to help people to combat the four major sufferings like old age, disease, birth, and death. But on the strength of this knowledge, they don't have to take birth anymore. They don't have to take this prison uniform anymore. This material world is Durga, is a prison house. Durga, is a demigoddess with a fork, trident in her hands, goodness, passion, and ignorance. It's keeping all the living entities in this prison house. And the proof that we are in this prison house is this prison uniform, the body, made out of pus, urine, veins, blood, vomit, mucus, water, flesh, heat. There's so many components into the body that just by meditating on all these things, there was a yogi, Astavakra, thank you very much. He was how he became free from sex life by meditating on the body that is made out of all these elements. Isn't it? When we walk in the street and you see some vomit on the road, that's what is inside this beautiful body. And when you see that, or blood with it, or whatever, then it kills the lusty desire. You get a little bit torn back, to associate with the opposite sex, because it's called parsajam, trying to enjoy touching the covering of all this rubbish. Of course, I don't want to put anyone off. The body being created by Lord Brahma, we can use it in Krishna service. Everybody's beautiful. We are made out of the image of God. And the body should be preserved in devotional service. Then you become more beautiful. The soul, the effulgence comes out. So therefore, This is the next understanding uh, after the idea of remaining a Sunday feast devotee. We understand that we are not the body, we are the soul, and then we become happy, peaceful. We do some service, and then what? What is the next thing to do? There's always something more. Something is better than nothing, but of course, more is better than something. We want to give people that same feeling that we have, like Lord Chaitanya, Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam, every resident of the spiritual world, their happiness is always increasing, the happiness of God. But He came to earth to share that feeling, to teach us how to become happy. And that happiness is to give people the same feeling that we have, of the blissful feeling. Take a book, take prasad, hear the Hare Krishna mantra, which will free you from the bondage of misery. And people, they do. Those who understand, they become relieved from suffering. And the immediate effect is already there. You become more and more courageous. Then you overcome the fear of birth, old age, disease, and death. You're not afraid anymore. More advanced you become, and more you understand that the soul cannot be cut, cannot grow old, cannot be burned, cannot be diseased. Then you understand, all this beautiful color, the trees, the sky is not there by chance. These beautiful, if you just by looking at these beautiful paintings, I think Adokshaja, the artist, is there. He's sleeping now. Is the artist. So the person ignorant would say, oh, beautiful painting. Same thing, people, they go in vacation. They enjoy the nice sun, the clouds. It's a beautiful creation, beautiful sky, beautiful sea. And that's it. It's limited, the appreciation, very limited. But someone more intelligent, he would say, if there is a beautiful painting, who is the artist? There must be an artist. So similarly, if we appreciate the creation, we ask, there must be a creator. If there is a creation, there must be a creator. If there is a painting, there must be an artist. So therefore, if there is a creation, there must be God. This is very analytical reasoning, Hanuman. When you reason with yourself, and try to find out whether or not Krishna exists. The Sambandha Gyan, that yes, of course, just by looking around us, who has created me, where I come from, all perfect. My body is breathing, keeping me alive. If the oxygen, the pulmons are not there, I would be dying, just like a car. If it doesn't have a pistons, it cannot move. So this intelligence is given to the engineer. So the same intelligence is in the universe to make the wind, purify the atmosphere, to make the sea moving, to give growth to vegetables, to give heat, the equilibrium in the atmosphere, not too cold, not too hot, so that we can, to give us grains. Where is everything coming from? Who is the mastermind behind all this? We are using all these tools of the earth, but who is supplying the tools? Who is creating the tools? This ingredient, the seed, the hambija pradapita, the seed-giving father. And people yet they deny there is no God. It's impossible. So if there is no God, where is the creation coming from? Oh, Big Bang. So the Big Bang came, exploded. But before the Big Bang, all these ingredients that created the explosion, where are they coming from? Let's talk about before the Big Bang. There was something that, yes, but my question to you, if there was something, how come something is from nothing? If there was nothing, then there was nothing eternally. But if there was something, Srila Prabhupada said, life comes from life, something is from something. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, if I make no sense. You need something to produce something. You cannot produce something from nothing. Of course, the magicians, sometimes they do tricks. But again, don't buy it. There is a trick. There is a magic behind all these magicians. So there is God. And we have to try to understand who is this person. This is the goal of life. When, the good fortune says, it comes under the nose, it passes under the nose of everybody in this world. And we have to be intelligent to grab it. Just like a mosquito fly, pass under your nose, catch it. If you try to catch it, then you're a very good catcher. So when I go out, distribute some books, I create some luck for them, some good fortune. The good fortune is passing under their nose. And people, they have to be intelligent to catch it, take it. Then at least, I give them an opportunity. We give them an opportunity to people. And there is no excuse at the time of death. If they refuse it, and they want to remain agnostic, there is no God, I don't believe in God. But then when they see the reality that there is something after death, something is there. Mr. Karma, we are judged by karma, as I explained this morning. We are evaluated by God, with all our activities, what we have done. Each one of us, we are the architect of our actions. We have maybe 1,000 months in this world. We think the world of life, is very long, the span of life. But actually, life is only 1,000 months, 900 months. That's 80 years, 70, 80 years. And you can see they pass like that. I was looking at my friend, Shriji. I haven't seen him for 37 years. Gone in a flash. 6 decades we are. And when we joined, we were very young, almost 4 decades ago. We were distributing books together. Gone in a flash. So we want to give an opportunity to people that, so when they are judged by Yamaraj or by the higher authority, higher gods, you were given an opportunity to understand God by a devotee, a book distributor, or someone who gave you some prasad or some harinam, or someone who talked to you about God, but he didn't want to know. Sorry, you have to come back again. So birth after birth, that's what we do. We have to come back again. Sukla Krishne Gatiyete Jakate Sashpate Mate Ekaya Yatyanavriti Manyavartate Punaha. The intelligent person, human, a devotee, For him, at the end of his life, Sukla Krishna Gati Yede, the destination is without return. But for those who are not faithful, for those, they have to return. After death, there is an afterlife. They have to return into this world. And it could be down in hell. We were discussing this morning, myself and Dr. Jam, some sinful people, they go down, the soul comes out of the lowest part of the gate of the body, the anus, and they go in different hellish species of life. But those who have been pious, some they come out through the mouth, the soul. Devotees come out from the head, and we go upwards. Some pious devotees, they want to enjoy a little bit more. They go to heaven, and maybe they come back again, and they have a higher life, and they get given an opportunity again to enjoy a little bit more. Krishna it's not that, if you don't come back home, I'll punish. He's not a Taliban. God is not if you don't do what I say, I'll kill you. He's not, he's very democratic. If you want to come back again, he gives you the freedom. Okay, you want to play with a little bit more with my toys, material toys, like a child is telling the parents, I want to play a little bit more. The parents go, come for lunch. You forgot. You're hungry. Come. And he's there playing with his friends, arguing, fighting in the other room, playing. And he thinks that the whole world is the playroom, the toys. And he gets so much engrossed and absorbed. He forgets that he's got a mommy and daddy. They're calling him. And he forgets that he's hungry. He forgets that he has a relationship with his parents. And then he starts to argue with his friends, fighting over the toys. And that's what we do in this world. We're playing with the toys of this world, and we fight. We are all brothers and sisters. We fight each other for power, for money, competition, envy, whatever it is. What are the toys? Power, cars, assets, bank balance, houses. These are all the toys that we play with. And then Krishna, time to time, the spiritual master, the devotees, come home to the real life. Come back to reality. That's what we do. So the advanced person, he wants to give this knowledge to other people. Otherwise, we remain a Sunday feast devotee. I asked myself this question 40 years ago. I was sitting down for 1 year. Every Sunday I would go to the feast, nice prasad, nice. But then I had that voice inside my heart. So then what? What are you going to do next? You can carry on coming, associating with devotee, take prasad, and then you can carry on for the rest of your life. You grow old. That's good. You go back home, back to Godhead. Krishna is very kind. Srila Prabhupada is very kind. You take prasad, you chant Hare Krishna, there is no doubt. You go back home, but then again, are we satisfied? Are we really happy? Those who join and want to do something to show some gratitude. Like, I want to tell the last story. It's about book distribution, but this story is one of my favorite one. Sri Bhuvanath Prabhu told me, once Srila Prabhupada was in the room translating, and two devotees, they were arguing in the outside the room, Bhaktivedanta Manor. And Rancho Prabhu told me this past time. I don't want to mention the name of those two disciples. They were arguing. Yes, Prabhu, I heard from Prabhupada that just by chanting Hare Krishna and following the four regularity principles, it's enough to go back home, back to Godhead. I take prasad. And the other devotee said, no, you have to do more. You have to do service. You have to surrender. It's not. Anyway, they stormed in the room, and one of them, he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, is true that just by chanting Hare Krishna and following the four regs, it's enough to go back home, back to Godhead? And Prabhupada, he put down his head and he became emotional. And his lips, they were vibrating. And he put up his head. He said, do you think I would cheat you? And he was very moved with his lips. He said, yes, of course. You go back home, back to Godhead. Then he put his head down again. Of course, Prabhupada, he didn't want us to just be content with eating prasad, chanting Hare Krishna, and that's it, no service. So he put his head down, then he lifted. They were both of them book distributors. And Prabhupada put up his head again. He said, it's true, but what to speak if you help me by distributing my books, carry on distributing my books. Lord Chaitanya will come personally. I'll take you back home, back to Godhead. So that gave me a sense of, wow, Srila Prabhupada, he doesn't punish us for not serving. You know, it's not that if you don't serve, you are a demon. Because chanting Hare Krishna is also service. Taking prasad is service. But then something will wake up. These things, they make us feeling in debt with a spiritual master. Okay, I'm feeling some bliss. Let me share it. That bliss with other people. I want people to feel the same way I feel. And the gratitude comes in, I want to serve you, helping you. Those who come forward and say, Srila Prabhupada, I want to dedicate a few days at your service of the week, at your service, whatever service it is, serving prasad, cleaning the temple, someday venture, out on preaching, book distribution, giving donations. In other words, help, to expand the movement. Then Prabhupada becomes very happy. And he gives, as I said this morning, Savai Balam Balinam Chaparisham. Delhi will empower you to become a good devotee, a trustworthy devotee. You want to win the trust of the Guru, the trust of Krishna, then you have to serve Krishna, be loyal to him. Every day I go out, I pray. I don't really pray. I'm not good praying, but I go in front of the Lord, give me the strength. Please give me the strength. I just talk to Krishna. I ask for things. They say, oh, you shouldn't ask anything from God. No, I ask for power, for strength, energy to keep me going, serving him. That's a pray. You don't have to be there, offering obeisances and chant 64 rounds in front of the deities, praying. But really, the prayer is, what can I do for you? When we chant Hare Krishna means, give me some service. So, and the best service is when we bring other people close to Krishna. Sankirtan, that's what Lord Chaitanya, he came for that. To bring the conditioned souls back to their senses, close to Krishna. And then there is no more miseries. There is no more. There will be no more birth, old age, disease, and death. Once we become free from these miseries. Otherwise, we have to come back again, and we may make it, or we may not make it. Many times we take a birth and we put on tilak, dhoti, kurta. And if we find ourselves again doing the same thing, it means in previous lives we didn't make it. We had some material desires. Like when I joined the temple, some devotees said, "Oh, I recognize you. I think I've seen you in my previous lives." The temple president, Maritwara, my Guru Maharaj told me the same. You came back. Let's see if you can make it in this life. It meant I was a devotee maybe in previous, but I didn't make it. Sometimes I go in the street. I was showing some video to Dakshaja Prabhu, and people said, "Oh, I think I recognize you. I've seen you somewhere." Maybe I've been trying to give them a book, Birth After Birth. I didn't make it, and they didn't make it reading it, so they get another chance. So it's very mystical. We take a birth again and again and again. But Krishna is very kind. Whatever little service you do, you will come back to your service. You pick up where you left from. Nabhikramana sosti, pratyavayona vidyate. Svalpa myapesa dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. You will pick up where you left from, and this service will deliver you from the fear, the most dangerous fear. That for some people is disease or death or ignorance. The fear that we have a fear of not knowing things, of what tomorrow is bringing us. Fear of the enemy, fear of crossing the road. We have to trust at every minute. We have to trust the fear of having a heart attack. Like Shriji told me that a few years ago, he had a heart attack. The fear of disease, the fear of losing the loved ones, the fear of losing the house, money, of going in debts, the fear of losing a child, the fear of losing our arms and legs. I met two nice boys. They took books from me. One lost his leg in Afghanistan, and the other one lost his arm. They took a Bhagavad Gita. And, they were in fear because they didn't want it to happen. But it happened. But they said, as long as we are still alive, we are with our families, and we should read this book. And it was a lesson for me. People, they're living in fear in this world. And then when the fear stops and we feel a little bit secure, we go on holiday, we got no pain in the body, then we call it happiness. What is happiness? It's actually none other than the space between two suffering. It could last a few minutes, it could last a fraction of seconds, it could last, few hours. I've seen people, even, they go on holiday for 1 month. On the first day, they're already bored. So searching for happiness, that's what we are doing in this world. So I'll stop here and ask if there is any questions. What time do you usually finish? About an hour, yeah? there's any reflections or any questions or disagreement, corrections.
No question as such, but thank you, bro. Very nicely you put in overall, not just capturing this shloka in particular, but overall the essence of Bhagavad Gita, overall the message, and how like serving Prabhupada, serving the mission, serving Mahaprabhu, and more importantly, how not just to be a Sunday feast devotee. So, thank you, bro.
So thank you very much for being here, and we offer all our gratitude and respect to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Gonitai ki.
Jai.
Haribo. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Viswambhar Prabhu ki. We'll be having a kirtan now. Request His Grace Adok Shri Krishna Prabhu to lead the kirtan.
I learned this doing groups in the street. This book distribution is in my school. English speak a book.
I was in Italy first time in last day September. My Guru Maharaj came to Italy, Pradesh, Krishna Balaji, some place also.
Florence.
Yeah, Glovertown, yes. So three places, very wonderful places. Especially Hare Krishna Balaji, such a great place. Srila Ramanand is so wonderful.
Beautiful, yeah. Sorry, I went a little bit long.
That's fine. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vishani Vishesha Sunyavadi Pasticha Deshitarane Jashi Krishna Chaitanya Ravanichanamna Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama